Hello, good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. We are doing fine. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to you all. You are all welcome to this special edition of Discovery Time. As you can see, I have a host, so I'm not going to be the host. Those on TikTok, you are just going to be hearing the voice. I'm very sorry. Um, but somehow TikTok is not allowing me to, use my streaming um, app to stream live. So it's kind of difficult. So you just have to bear with me and be hearing the voice like we did last time. Okay. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Last week I could not make it due to, what I explained, and I'm still working on it. I promise I am, health is wealth and I am working on it. So, yeah, we are still busy with it, but thank God for everything. I want to introduce my host. He's going to introduce me anyway, but I need to introduce him. Um, his name is Pascal. He is such a wonderful young guy that I've come to know and appreciate so much. But you're going to know, you're going to hear more about him and what makes him so wonderful and why I'm so like, kind of like, I just like him. I just like him. So, he's one of these young guys that know what they want and they go for it. And I love people like that, who know what they want and, um, really go for it. It's not a matter of I can't do it. It's not a matter of where, I'm going to be, I don't know where to start. Even then, you seek the information and then you see how far it will take you. And that's one thing I have come to appreciate him for. That he doesn't allow his situation, circumstances, to hold him back. He goes for it. We all have a rough start, but like I always say, it is not your beginning that matters, it is where you end. So the process to get you to where you are going to is very, very important. We shouldn't forget that. And he has understood it and is really, really taking all the necessary steps to make it work. So, Pascal, now I leave it over to you.
Well, thank you. I will start by saying that it really is an immense honor to join you on this launch of this workbook. I know you've been talking about this for quite some time, the 10 piece. We'll delve into all of that, but I want to say thank you for letting me do this. And yeah, let's go right into it. Um, as mentioned earlier, this is the first reveal of this workbook, correct?
Mhm. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Well, I've been doing it, piece by piece. I think I
Right.
started in middle of August um, with the first P, principles.
Mm.
So I've been bringing it piece by piece to let people understand what the powerful piece are all about. And so far we've digest I think like 8 piece. We've done
Wow.
8 piece, and like the book covers 10 powerful keys, if I may call them, that we can really use in our lives for personal growth and leadership development. Um, and so, yeah, for me, it's I don't know. I'm just excited about the work. So each time I'm bringing every week, as I was bringing each P, it was such an excitement to do it, and I'm just happy. I just want to also hear from you because um, I I gave it to you, like, please help me go through it. And, and you took it also. So thank you so very much for taking out the time to be part of this success story, if I may say so myself. Because I strongly believe that the they are powerful tools
Yeah.
and that they could really help each and every one of us in every part of our lives. And it's not something you use once and it's done. It's a process that you can always continue to use as you are growing, as you're developing, in every stage that you are in. So
On that, I want to ask you, where did this idea of peace come from? Uh, like, how did this come about? How did you come about with this piece, this 10 piece, and to name them so?
like everything with me, it's really crazy how the ideas come.
Okay.
So I was one day like thinking, okay, what are the keys? What keys do we actually have that we can use? And initially, different, even now as I'm sitting here, there are some dropping in my
Wow.
spirit already, like for the next session. Honestly, that's really dropping for the next session. So um it started with very basic things, and then I will write it down and forget about it and come back again. And so I remember some weeks ago during the summer when I was going through my notes, and something was like, hey, you've got something here. And that time I had 7 P's,
Mm.
and it was completely, on different things. And really, something was telling me, hey, watch it, take a look, you've got something here, you've got something here. So I started diving into it, looking into it, and then out of nowhere, I will not tell you, oh yes, I read it from, no, honestly, out of nowhere, 10 came to my mind and said, make a series, make a series on the 10 P's, and then, you know, put it in a workbook as a coach to help people. So for me, it was like, oh, okay. The series I understood, so I started with the series, but then like you need to put it in a workbook. You need to make it a workbook, because series, they are all good and well, but how many people are watching? How many people are going to take the time as well to be taking notes as they are watching? But if you put it also in a workbook with guidelines to help people, that will be more powerful. And to be honest with you, I've written a book before. It's tedious, it's stressful. So I was like, how am I going to be doing it? Writing, with school as well, and all the project that I was busy with. So, but yeah, if the hunger is there and the desire is so much, you somehow God gives strength. And I must say that honestly, it's really God that gave me all these ideas and also the strength to be doing what I'm doing, because I don't know. I honestly don't know how to explain it otherwise. I don't know.
Wow. That's incredible. And you talk about putting it into a workbook being more digestible and uh, people being able to take notes, being a good idiom to engage this. And I will comment on that to say that that is definitely true. That is
Wow.
definitely true from my experience going through the workbook. I agree with you. But you also mentioned as a coach and as a teacher, I would assume that a good percentage of people from your network who might be live viewing this already know a bit about yourself. But before we delve into the content of the workbook and kind of thread our way through, I'd like to give you maybe an opportunity to quickly present yourself in case there are people listening in who might not be familiar with you or what you
Yes.
do.
Yes. Thank you. Anyways, my name is Helen Ayaa. That is my kind of like the name that I use for everything. Helen Ayaa. Ayaa is my Ghanaian name, which is derived from me being a Thursday born. So it's not like it's not like it's a very, but the R in front of the ya is, something that I kind of like added it because we have a lot of yas. And when I came here and I realized ya is yes, I was like, oh no,
Right.
I need to do so. But back home anyway, since home, everyone knows me as Aya. So if you go to, I was born and raised in Ghana. before coming to Belgium. Everyone there knows me as Ayaa. Why? Because I needed to be different and so stand out with from all the Yas. And so that, yeah, that's how the Ayaa came about. If people are wondering why Ayaa, that's how the Ayaa came about. So people back home, you know me. Ayaa. And Helen is just my name. Anyways, I am an educator, so I work in a school, and by the grace of God, we started also our own school here in Belgium, and so my passion is for the youth. To bring them up, to train them, to educate them, both academically, but also spiritually and otherwise. And coach is my passion. It's like everything that I've been doing so far has been preparing me for these two things, educating and being a coach, which goes hand in hand, anyways. You cannot be an educator without being a coach. As a good educator, you're also a coach, you're a mentor. So those two things, just, it's for me, I see it as me fulfilling my purpose. um Combining these two things is what I like. You see the passion in me when I talk about them. That's my drive. That's the purpose that I believe I'm born to fulfill, the why that I exist, to help others become their very best, bring out their best, because I believe in each and every one of us. As my first book says, we are hidden treasures, and in us we have this, you know wonderful hidden talents, gifts, that with the right direction, being directed well and being guided well, and the right tools, you can develop it and become just awesome. So yes, that's in a nutshell who I am.
Wow.
I'm also a mother, I'm also a wife, and all, we have different a lot of roles, but in a nutshell, when it comes to professional wise, I am an educator and coach. Born to be.
Yeah, a mother, a wife, an educator, a founder, a director, a coach, an author, a woman of many talents, indeed. However, your passion for education is very well seen throughout your workbook and your approach to it, which we're going to get into. But I wanted to begin by emphasizing or mentioning that rather it's your approach towards the workbook reveals your passion for education, attention to details when it comes to well putting these messages across, but also making sure that the reader who is using this workbook really gets it and
Hmm.
really not just understand but gets to apply it.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about this workbook for a while now. I think it's time we delve right into it. Of course, I'm not going to divulge the entire contents of the workbook. If anyone is interested, the person will talk about how they can get it later.
Yes.
Um, However, yeah, there's it. Leaving the P code.
Yes.
There it is. And you talked about mentioning multiple P's that would assist the reader um, to work out this P code, as you call them, that
Hmm.
leads towards growth. Not necessarily just success, but maintained success,
Hmm.
growth, and purpose. Okay. Well, the one of the first things that caught my attention whilst reading and using the workbook was a quote you mentioned
Mm,
about growth that got me thinking.
mm,
You said growth is not just upward,
mm-hmm,
but inward.
mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, I'd like us to take a minute to dissect this. I will apologize to all listeners because I'm about to take advantage of this session to get a conversation with you on some of the things in this workbook that drew my attention, that struck me, or I would like to, gain insight into what your thoughts are on them. So
Yes.
I'd like us to look at this quote, this writing of yours about growth not being simply upward, but
Hmm.
inward. How can growth be inward?
Well, you should see it as I always use this metaphor anyway. I love metaphors because they just make things, I believe, just clear, or make the abstract concrete. So I always use this metaphor of how seed grows. First, when you plant a seed, the seed, let's say a seed of a mango tree,
Right.
before that seed will become a tree that you see outside, it first dies to itself and grow down. Why does it do that? So that it gets a strong um, root, a strong firm in the ground before it shoots up.
Right.
So that growing downward, that's what I compare with us with inward, growing inward.
Mhm.
The tree, the seed, becomes very strong once it's out, not easily moved, not easily shaken. The out actually is just growing taller. The real growing was when it was growing down.
Mm, mm,
To get that root, to get grounded, to be able to, move, no shaking, nothing. And the growing is just to, grow and let the fruits now come and bless the people. But the real growth, like I say, you know what it takes to really dig yourself deep down in the ground. Get yourself strong, balanced, firm, the nutrition and everything you need deep down in that place in the ground. And then when you are growing, people think it's just by it's just happening, but they don't see the work that the tree had to do to grow down, to have that firm standing. And that's what growing inward means. Growing inward means is look to yourself, search those things and remove those things that that will bring any imbalance or disturb your growth. So that once you are shooting up, the shooting up is a result of the growth that happened inward. That's just it. So when we are focusing and we focus so much on the outward or the upward, you miss the real growth.
mm. That is to say that growth is not always outward either, but very much
Exactly.
the result of growth in inward.
Yes. The
And that,
inward growth is what reflects, or is what, yeah, it's what shows on the outside and upward.
mm,
How deep you are determines how far you can also go, right? So if deep within you, if the growth is shallow, the growth outside will be quick, but also shallow, will come to an abrupt stop very fast, and then it will become difficult for you to shoot or go or move, because it's like you've reached a peak and you don't understand. I'm not moving, I'm not going, I'm not, what is happening? But because you did not take time for that inward growth, that is what happens. And with that inward growth, let me go a bit further. It's not like it happens once and that's it. You should realize that every season demands that you take the time to again grow inwardly. Like the trees, they have their seasons. They have their seasons that they, like this time, this period is a season that they actually kind of like really close themselves up to rest. And as they are resting, you might think nothing is happening, but preparation is happening down there, in there, for the next stage where they will now start to blossom, where they will now start to grow. If nothing happened inward, that outward one will not show, or you will see it that something went wrong somewhere. So every season comes with its own need of having this inward growth within you. Look within you and see, what do you need to do, what do you need inwardly to be able to handle all the outside, how should I say it? Yeah, outside growth, because every stage comes with its challenges. You cannot use the glory of yesterday to face the challenges of today. They might help you, strengthen you, give you a bit of a, um how should I say it, like, you are a bit ahead. But if you don't prepare yourself well again for tomorrow's challenge, you might be swallowed up. So every stage, you need to still refresh that growing. You need to refresh that inwardness so that you are not consumed by tomorrow's surprises that we don't know what is going to happen anyways. But you still need to be prepared for it.
Wow, and this reminds me indeed. One of the things I loved about going through the workbook was that I found it to be such a well of insights. And
Mm,
I was reminded by those thoughts whilst listening to you speak. It's the workbook is also somewhat of a journey,
mm-hmm,
right? With so many insights that are applicable to daily lives and
mm-hmm,
to the readers and individual life.
mm-hmm.
Um, I find that to be incredible, and I would imagine the wisdom it requires to compile so much insight in what is less than a 200-page workbook. Well, um, I want to talk about.
Thank you. I'm grateful you find it, because I was like, how is it going to, um, when you are busy with something, it's in your head,
Yeah.
and you're writing it, you read it, you go through it, and but at the end of the day, it's so, how should I, yeah, it's not always clear. Like, did the message come across? Did I put it well? Is it going to? Because really, it's a journey.
Mm.
Um, and when you are going on a journey, one, you need to prepare yourself. You need to, be able also to slow down a bit at some pace so that you don't take the wrong turn or make the wrong choice. And this book also really, I believe, and I hope I succeeded. You tell me if I did or I didn't. To really make the reader sit and think, reflect,
Mm.
analyze things yourself, not just from the experience of people, because at the end I put my experience within with some. But if I write it from my experience, it will just be my experience. So that's why I put first the journey and then the testimony of how it has helped me, not first the testimony and then the journey, so that you will not have a biased mind. But you go through the journey yourself, write things down, journal it, plan yourself, do really take the time to not just read, but pause. And you, as you can see, it's really a workbook, so you can write in it. There are space that you'd write, there are space that you need to journal things down, there space that you just need to put your thoughts down, so you don't need extra book, extra pen and extra paper. You need pen, but extra paper with you. You just need your book, and as you are reading it, you are writing things down. So it's really meant to help you on this journey, to help you bring that best, to reflect on it, so that it's a journey within yourself. It's a journey within yourself, and a journey for you to, um not just listening to someone telling you who you are and what you can do and what you cannot do, but just you analyzing things by yourself. And then you can relate, because I believe I also invite readers to please relate it with peers, relate it with your friends, your or if you are in a coaching session with your coach, so that they can also give you that feedback that you need. I hope I succeeded in doing that.
Well, you talk about how the workbook leans the reader into pausing. I will tell you that it does more than just that. Um,
I'm sorry. Someone is asking me on TikTok if I have a son. Yes, I do have a son. I have three children. Thank you for that question. But we are talking about the workbook. So please, I hope you are hearing something. I know TikTok, you are not seeing my host, but I hope you are hearing his voice and hearing the questions that he's asking. And yeah, just stay tuned and be blessed. Hello, Tessie. How are you all doing? You are all welcome. Jojoba, thank you for tuning in. You are all welcome. Thank you so much. All right.
Yes, I was saying that you talked about the workbook leaning the reader into pausing. And I was saying that, in my opinion, it does more than just that. In
Yes.
it, it's leans, provokes the reader into pausing. It does not only lean the reader, it almost forces the reader into pausing, into
Mm-hmm.
reflecting, into
Mm-hmm.
taking a step back, indeed,
Mm-hmm.
into drawing, mapping, writing
Mm-hmm.
down. It not only inspires, it um, pushes the reader into speaking with others,
Mm-hmm.
speaking with peers, speaking with mentors, maybe seeking coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And there, I'll still make reference to this, but I find in that a certain uniqueness
Mm.
about this workbook, at least in comparison to the ones I'm familiar with or
Wow.
ones I've used in the past. It's a blend of multiple things, and there's still much more I will mention that
Mm.
makes the workbook very unique. And the unique approach it has is
Wow. Thank
read.
you.
No, absolutely. It's all of this, not just because, of course, you can have a workbook that indicts into taking notes,
Mm-hmm.
which is incredible. But then beyond that, it's uh, an encouragement to speaking
Yeah.
with others, an encouragement to relating with others, an
Yes.
encouragement to finding like-minded people,
Mm-hmm.
an encouragement to building, an encouragement to having relationships to rely on,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this makes it so much more humane in a
Yes.
way, and it makes the perception of this journey indeed personal, but intertwined with so many things that is in our dailies,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're not ignoring those things to focus on these ideas and philosophical concepts and thoughts, but
Yeah.
we're really making something real, or you're really making something real and uh, digestible and
Mm-hmm.
everyday life you have
Exactly.
such a thing in
Exactly.
it.
No,
Incredible.
I'm a very practical person, and so I believe whatever we have our thoughts, but if you let the thoughts only remain thoughts and you bring it out like that, you've not helped anyone. So out of the thoughts, it needs to become applicable. It needs to become practical. And so, how do you best do it? And that was the journey that I went, like, okay, how do we bring it that to really be practical, to really be a tool that people will use? We can be talking about all this. I give definition of what principles are, and it can remain there in the vague and so forth, but
Yes.
then it doesn't help anyone. And so I give the definition, but then the invitation that you sit down and write down yourself,
Yeah.
what does it mean to you? How do you relate to it, or how does it relate to you, so that you yourself, you make it also your own thing, um which makes it, I think, like you said, thank you very much, unique, um in a way that, yeah, if you have the workbook, it's uniquely yours.
Yeah. Oh,
It's not
yes.
it's not something that is from me. It's yours. You make it how you want, the work that you are working with it, the journey that you are going on with it. So yeah.
No, we've spent so much time discussing already, and we still haven't started talking about the piece, the 10 piece of the workbook. So I would think let's just jump into it before
Mhm.
we get consumed, because there is so much. we could delve into. The book is very rich in so many things, and we could spend a lot of time on one of them. So, um, the first P
Yeah.
you mentioned is principles,
Mm-hmm.
and you describe principles as a bedrock,
Mm-hmm.
a foundation. Something I find interesting is I think it's more and more generally known
Mm-hmm.
how much it's important to have core values,
Mm-hmm.
principles. But you define it interestingly. You say principles are not only core beliefs and values; they're unwavering truths you rely on during uncertainty.
Yes. Yes. So that's actually like your belief system. And your belief system is what you hold to be truth. And so if your principles, we say, yeah, they are your core values, but our core values are um, shaped, influenced by your belief system, by whatever ideology that you believe in, whichever philosophical theory that you are following or reading or allowed to influence you. Your values are shaped by them, and then also by your culture.
Mm.
They are very much shaped by the traditions that are in the cultures, but also your family, the home that you are brought up in. Your values are shaped by them. And so whatever you are taught and whatever you know, don't forget, becomes your truth. And that belief system that you have, which you say is your truth, coupled with all these elements that I mentioned that can influence your values, they are your truth. We cannot we cannot deny them. No one grows up in isolation. And so whatever influences those, your mindset and your thinking whatsoever, obviously influence your values. And it is based on your values, because we have the different values. Norms are actually how you act, our actions based on our values. Yeah. So the norms that you, or how you are acting and everything, it is really dictated by the values that you hold dear. And so the truth that you have come to accept as your foundation. I also say that principles are foundation. It's your foundation.
I want to ask you, why is this? Why do you deem this so important in context of purpose or achieving purpose?
Yes. For me, principle is the, like they say, is the principal thing, the number one thing, the foundation. If you do not have a strong foundation to build on, every other thing sinks. I mean, if you don't build on a solid rock, as we say it, and you go and build on sand, you go and build on water, you go and build on, obviously you are building then on nothing, because the ship will sink. If it ship the ship will sink. So you need a strong foundation to build on. And your principle, or the principles, the values that you hold dear, the truth that you build on, that is what is going to make sure that you are strong. You are, you can handle things. Because to achieve your purpose, or to even find out what your purpose is, you need to first identify and know, at least have an idea where your values are coming from. Because we have a lot of people, we follow some certain values without actually understanding or knowing, how did I get here?
Wow.
And so when you know and understand that how you got here, that's the part of knowing yourself. That's why I say it's the foundation. Then you can now start to move to, through the all the other P's to get to your purpose, which then still continues. But the prince your we cannot do without principles. Without principles, I see it as like, someone without how do you call it, you are baseless, no substance, no it's baseless. And so anyone can dump anything in you, on you, and you accept it. And that will not lead you to fulfilling purpose, because you will always be living another person's truth, another person's life, another person's, it's not yours. It's not, you have nothing. You are baseless.
Wow.
And principles help you to form that strong foundation that you understand, this is who I am for this and this reason, and this is where I'm going to. And because of one other thing also with principle is that it gives you guidance. It helps you um not to be easily swayed from left to right as you are going. It will help you to give you that direction. There are some things, because of where the principles you hold dear, there are some things you will not do. There are some people you will not mingle with. You will identify very fast, this person is not, or does not have the same vision that I have, and so I cannot stay too long. Or even if I am having anything to do with, because it's a colleague or whatsoever, you know um how that relationship will move, you know because they say like-minded iron sharpened iron, right? So if you don't know the principles you hold dear, you would also not know which iron is the best to sharpen you.
That's incredibly insightful, and I find the link, making such a strong link between establishing your core values
Mm-hmm,
and pursuing dreams and
mm-hmm.
purpose to be incredibly insightful. I want to quickly carry on. There is a specific story you give as an example when talking about the second P. I do not know if you have your workbook with you. I'd like excuse
Yes, I have it with me.
uh, around thereabout in page number 19.
Mm.
You give an example that I find very interesting.
Oh yeah, the teacher. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm.
let's see if I can grab it quickly. Yes. So once again,
So,
I'm not going to read it out uh,
mhm.
because if you're interested, get the get the workbook.
Yes, if you're interested, please get the workbook. Please like, share, help calling the Calvary, because we are talking today about the workbook that I wrote to help us on our journey, personal development journey, and also leadership development. And I hope you are being blessed. But please help us do what we do best. Help us like, help us share, because it helps me to becoming more and more, um, and also to help others to get this wonderful book. Honestly, it's not because I wrote it, but you are hearing from Pascal. Unfortunately, those on TikTok, you can't see him. But it is really a book that will help you on your journey of becoming, on your journey of developing, on your journey of getting to know yourself better. So yes, please do and help us share. Okay,
Absolutely.
Pascal.
Please do share. Please do
Yeah.
share and reference it. Reference it um, to someone who you know is on a journey of self improvement, on a journey of self discovery, on a journey of growth. It's It's one of those that you truly can say is very helpful
Yes.
to someone who is on a conscious journey towards growth. But moving on quickly, there's a specific statement you make about this young Sophia,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll read it. You say she defined her purpose as empowering every child to believe in their potential.
Mm-hmm.
And in context of the story you're telling, that's defining her purpose made a huge difference.
Absolutely. Because the thing is, if you do not know why you are doing something, because your purpose is your why, if you do not know why you're doing something, everything goes and you do whatever. And then you realize, in her case, in Sophia's case, for example, she was doing all the other things, and her heart was at the right place. She wanted to help, and she was full of passion. But passion alone is not enough if you don't know why you are doing something. So
Yes.
that's why her story comes in. She was passionate to teach, and but she did not know why. She had not identified why exactly she's doing it, so that to give her a clear view. Take it like you are driving and you see your front, but you can only see to some certain meters. You can't see very far ahead of you. Now, imagine you are driving in with fog mist. It becomes even difficult for you to see ahead if you do not know the road, if you do not know where you are going to and the road you are on. But if you know the road you are on, it makes the journey a bit easier, even though you can't see the full picture ahead of you. So that's what purpose does a bit. Purpose, your why, it gives you um, the confidence to still forge on no matter the challenges that you are facing, because you know where you are going to and why you are doing it. That's the whole thing with. So when she found her why, the journey became a bit easier for her. It was no longer just being blindly driven by passion, but it was now, I know why I'm doing this. And she was taking it one child at a time.
Yeah, you talk about the dangers of unbridled passion. I
Hmm.
want to ask you, what would you say to someone who fears that given such a strict definition is too constraining, that it does not give space for more, or that it does not encapsulate the extent of their curiosity?
For passion, you mean?
Yes.
Well, I wanted to go away from passion being, because most of the time, if we talk about passion and if you don't make it clear, it's easily linked to this desire, like how should I put it? Impulsive desires.
Right, right.
And so I wanted to make it clear that, look, this is beyond impulse. This is more, this has got even nothing to do with impulse. Impulse is there, but that is not passion. What really drives you, or what should push you, should be more than just, oh, I want to do this, and I'm moving with it. And no, 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 no. It should be a well thought out, because the passion, I see it as that spark
Mm,
that ignites everything that is already in you. See it like when you're going to drive a car, the car is there, right? The car is there. So it's not like the car does not exist. It's not like your all that you need doesn't exist. They exist. They are there. It is now when you enter the car, and you enter the car, but you don't press on your start, or you don't put the key to now ignite that spark that will awaken everything, the engine and everything. It it doesn't work. So passion is there to help you. It's the light, the igniter, the one that fuels. But you need to understand the what it does and what it doesn't, so that it will help you. you know It sparks and it fuels at the same time. Now, if like a car, when you start the car, you first the engine goes before every other thing now starts to what become awakens.
Right.
That's what the passion will awaken everything in you. So your purpose, your principles. Without the passion, principles alone becomes also dull. It's not moving, nothing. So the passion is what brings life to everything actually. But you need to understand that it doesn't go on its own.
Right.
It is
Right.
guided through and with principles, purpose. That's why I put it between the two, principles and purpose. Everything is really well thought out. How the pieces are
Yes,
are
absolutely.
organized. They
I
are really
noticed
well
that.
thought out.
I noticed that. I noticed the thread of almost not enumeration, but the thread between each of the keys and how
Yeah.
one led to another and one comes before another on purpose. Now,
Good
in
evening, Joy. How are you? Sorry. How are you doing? Good evening, all of you that have tuned in. You're welcome. Please help us to do what we do best. Madam Teacher, you're welcome, dear. It's been a while. Yes, please.
Now, in anticipation of having this conversation with you, I had made notes of 6 full pages of questions, of
Wow.
thoughts I wanted to communicate and ask you. And we're only still on the very first page. So I'm worried.
Don't
um,
be worried. Don't be worried.
and yes, indeed, although it appears we might not be able to go through all questions and notes I had gone through. There is something you said there. You talked about how,
Good evening, patients. Yes, sorry.
oh, of course, you talked about how passion fuels, ignites passion, ignites purpose, and the link between them. I want to bounce on that.
Mm-hmm,
I'll take us back to the workbook again.
mm-hmm,
When you're talking about purpose,
mm-hmm,
I'll get it for you. So you talk about purpose not being self-serving,
mm-hmm,
it being expansive. And
mm-hmm.
then when I go back to the chapter on passion, you say something that caught my attention. So you say that passion reveals not just where the fire burns, but what it is meant to light. That gives me some sort of indication that it's as if to say that passion is always geared towards
Your
others,
purpose.
towards something
Exactly.
beyond oneself.
Exactly. That's why I said it's more than impulse.
Right.
It's
And
not the oh, I want to do this. It's not about the me. It's not about the I. No. The passion, like it ignites, it awakens everything in you, but it awakens to do something. And that's why I'm coming back to the metaphor that I used with the car. You use the car to go to somewhere. You use the car to reach a destination. And so the car is there to what? To service you and others. The same thing, your passion and everything you have, the gift or whatsoever, it's not meant for you. It is never meant for you. It is meant to what? Help and to bless others. So your passion, someone will say, like I say, I'm passionate to be it's my passion. It's not for me per se, but it's for all those that I can help one way or the other, or be of assistance to, or it's really geared. It's really for the others. And while the crazy thing, or you see how I'm bubbling, the fun thing about it is actually the joy that you have. So it still serves you. By serving others, you serve yourself because you know and see you are fulfilling something. You are doing something, and it brings back joy and it brings also relevance. And in this life, if you lack that relevance or significance, anyhow you want to call it, because for me, I strongly believe more than people have put in success, and I define success also differently than how most of people see success. More than just seeing success as I've done this, I've accumulated, I've done that. See the success in the little joy that you bring, in the little changes that you bring. And that is what passion should lead to. The passion for helping people will lead or reveal your purpose. So that's where the revealer is of passion. It lightens or like show you, oh, you are passionate about this and that and that. Then what does it tells you? Now I did it. I examine myself, or should I say, I do regular checks in with myself. Am I still on track? Am I doing or fulfilling or what I ask, or what not what I ask, but what I'm supposed to, and I write them down. And so as I write it down, I also write the dates just so that I will have an idea when I should come back to it again. Or sometimes we forget. So I take my book and I wrote this that time. Is it still so? Am I still that same person? Like, is this still um gingering me? The passion. Is it still something that I'm on fire for? Then I look into it. Okay, if it is, then what is the purpose that I'm supposed to fulfill with this fire? So that is what the purpose does as a revealer. It ignites, but at the same time also it reveals your what you're supposed to do, your why you're on fire for ABZ. Why do you do this, or why should you do this? To who is it going to benefit anyways? And then you start identifying those things, and you realize life is not for you, but it is meant to bless others. So yes, that's what passion does. You see, I can talk like
Uh,
hours over this.
uh, Absolutely. And in fact, whilst you were speaking, it occurred to me once again how you wrote the structure in which you wrote this book, even more so in the exercises
Hmm.
that you propose. You offer them in such a way that following the workbook does not simply imply doing some exercises or which is good, or simply
Yes.
reflections about the reader's personal growth, which once again in and of itself is good. But more than that, uh, sometimes following the workbook means a note to self, to
Yes. Yes.
sometimes it's an invitation to map out things. Other
Yes.
times it's an invitation to identify patterns, to reminisce, or even to evaluate or reevaluate choices. And as you mentioned earlier, all of these are very personal to
Hmm.
the reader. And most importantly, I want to say for the reader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that great. It's just to complement the points you were making. Uh, Now, moving forward a bit, something you did incredibly well. For example, in the chapter where you talk about preparation, planning, which is one of the P's, once again,
Hmm.
as an important part of growth.
Hmm.
Uh, you take the reader through like multiple facets of mapping out goals. What I mean by this is that you talk about the idea
Hmm.
of mapping out
Hmm.
um, goals or of mapping out things. But beyond that, you take the reader through that process of mapping out goals, a sort of user-friendly approach,
Hmm.
of working towards your dreams. Um, and on this, I want to ask you a question. One thing I noticed Apologies. One thing I noticed throughout your workbook, you speak quite a bit about confidence in
Hmm.
your writing. And so I want to ask you, why is confidence really, in your opinion, that important in growth, in leadership, in the pursuit of dreams and
Hmm.
purpose?
Well, it's It's so important. Why I'm laughing is because there are already C's coming up. I told you projects are already boiling in me, and confidence, clarity, all those. I think I mentioned three of them also. And that preparation, I think. Um, anyway, one in one of the piece I mentioned them. So confidence is so important, because if you lack confidence, you will not start anything.
Mm,
And if you lack confidence, again, you will believe anything and whatever is said about you. Confidence comes from knowing who you are. Confidence comes from believing, sorry, believing also who you are and that you are made for great things. You are made for greater things. That's where that confidence comes from or will come. And so if you lack that, it becomes difficult on your journey, your personal growth journey. Because again, it goes to show that your principles are not that strong. Sorry, I have a big cold. So it goes to show that your principles are not that strong. And then whatever comes along or whoever can tell you something else that you buy into will yeah, can actually change your mind, or um will kind of like distract you from where you are actually supposed to be. In my first book, I actually talk about knowing yourself, become. I talk about it so much more that I say if you do not know yourself honestly, why it's important for us to become. If you do not know yourself, people will define you. And when people define you, it is a reflection of who you are, not who you actually are. It's always a reflection of who you are because who you are is here within you. Have you ever been in a situation that some people might think, oh, they know you so well and they are saying some things about you, and within you, you know, I don't think you actually understand my makeup. Have you been in such a situation?
oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Exactly. So whatever they are saying is a reflection of what they are thinking, their perception about you, but it's not really about who you are. And so if you lack confidence, you buy into that reflection, that perception, and you start acting out on that perception, which is not who you are. And confidence in who you are will now tell you, okay, I understand where this perception comes from. You put it in where it is, and I understand and I know, but I also know who I am, and you move towards, whatever you have set to do.
Wow.
So confidence is so important. People that lack confidence, it's something that I think we all, those that say I never, I leave it up to them. Um, Good evening, Chichi. You're all welcome. I leave it up to them. But I know, I've struggled with confidence, and there are even now some situations that you're like, I'm lacking a bit of confidence in this area. Not that I can't do it, but you're still like a bit, doubting a bit, which I believe it's normal. Sorry about that. Oi. Which I believe it's normal. So if we lack that confidence, if we lack confidence, people will now determine for you who you are. And we should not allow that. We should not allow people to determine for us who we are. We should not allow people to speak for us or on behalf of us. Your confidence is your, how should I put it? It's what helps you to push you, to move you forward. If you lack that confidence, it becomes a problem.
Wow. These are incredible insights. Um, well, there's something I want to ask you.
Yes, please.
Um, at some point in your book, there is somewhat of a tone shift.
Mm.
You are brutally honest on the discomforts and setbacks that comes on this journey
Yeah.
of growth and of becoming,
Yeah.
as you put it. You talk a lot in your chapter about perseverance,
Mm-hmm.
on grit. You talk about commitment. You talk about diligence, taking responsibility. You talk about
Yes.
evolution. You make it really clear that no worthwhile journey is
Mm-hmm.
rosy, right? I want
Yeah.
to ask you now, what parts of your personal journey makes this such an important chapter for you?
Well, for me, it's my personal journey is everything about the chapter is really kind of about me persevering through. Life has challenged me in many ways. Um, that at the same time, also, I believe I am who I am today due to those challenges. Because whatever, they have this saying, we have this saying, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I believe that throughout the challenges that I have faced as a child, as you know, growing up, and even as adult, um, they have kind of like each time they kind of remove something from you.
Mm,
Uh, in as much as also building you, they give you certain tools, and somehow it's like every stage that I enter into in my personal life, the previous stage was really needed.
mm,
So the challenges that I went through there actually helped me to scale through and remind me, hey, you survived that. You know, you are here today, you survived that, so you survive this one too. You make it through. Just keep on pushing and holding. And one thing about me is I have come, or right from I have this thing of not accepting no for an answer. That yes, there is a no, and people have the right to say no, but not because they say no that you say, okay, it's a no, so I stop.
right.
You continue to push. What does water do? Water always looks for a way to go to move out. And they will push and dig until they make a way for themselves. And so I said, if water that refuse to, give up, will push and push and push until there is a way, before you know it, there is a leak up there. That leak did not come from one day rain, one day. It came from, over time pushing and trying to find a way, digging through the cement and all that to make that little hole for the water to pass. So I'm like, if water can do that and make a way, well, we can always make a way through challenges. We can always make a way through the situations that we find ourselves, and that's where perseverance comes in. Perseverance is that endurance, that not only passive, being passive, and I speak about that also in patience, that you are not passive. You shouldn't be passive, and you shouldn't also be overwhelmed with this pity, self-pity, and so forth. See what you can do, what you can learn, which other ways to do things. Yes, there are setbacks. Okay, it did not work out, but then what else? What can you do to improve, or um, to do the things differently? Because for me, there is success in failure. There is success in failure. The only time you fail is when you fail to try. There is success in failure. Failure can teach you the things that you can do, the things that you shouldn't do, actually, how you shouldn't do something, or how next to prepare yourself. So there is success in failure. So it's better you push through, learn from the mistakes, because we all make mistakes, but they are meant to learn so that you don't make it a second time.
Yep.
And that's the journey I've been through, and that's why I want to encourage everyone with this powerful P. Why I'm saying I use it as a tool and not as something to avoid is because you can use it to your advantage. You can use the P for perseverance to say, okay, because what falls under perseverance, actually, a lot, discipline falls under
Yeah,
perseverance.
you mentioned that. Yes.
Determination falls under perseverance. You need to be diligent as well. So work yourself through and work hard. Don't be lazy. Don't wait and think manna will fall from heaven. Or it's also not always about working hard. That's why you need all, if you follow all the other P's, you realize you you need to be wise, because I also say it, wisdom in everything is the key. You need to be wise in your approach with things and use these P's, really all of them. But perseverance I put as the key, as a tool, together with patience and all the other P's. But perseverance is a tool for me, because sometimes when you rush through things, you don't get the best. You don't always get the best with rushy things and fast things. Also, you don't get to be molded in a way that, like I said, for me, the challenge that I passed through was a preparation for my next stage. So if you're not prepared for the next stage and you go to the next stage, you'll be crushed. And that's why you should see it as a powerful tool and use it like that as well.
Wow. Thank you so much for so much insights. Really, once again, as I said earlier, this book, I find it to be a well of so much insights. And the great thing about it is it takes you along those insights. It forces the reader to reflect alongside. Well, as we are slowly approaching the end of this chat, I want to, if I may, make two comments
Hmm.
about this workbook. You know, in my experience, there are many books that emphasizes specific aspects of growth.
Mm.
The first one that comes to mind, for example, is habits and the
Yes.
importance of habits, right?
Yes.
There are books that emphasizes this important aspect of growth. An incredible thing that I think you achieved in this workbook is being able to bring many of these aspects together, helping the reader hence
Mm.
evaluates his or her journey.
Mm.
Well, right? His or her journey of growth, right?
Yes.
And like the many things he or her has implemented in their personal life in I don't know how long. And I really love that aspect of this book.
Mm.
Additionally, you add personal testimonies
Hmm.
book, which honestly I find to be unique for this type of piece of literature, because you do not simply satisfy with sharing ideas and
Hmm.
concepts that are important, but as we shared earlier, you take a very genuine and real approach towards your writing. And
Oh, thank you.
no, I mean my words. I do not say them merely for the sake of saying them. I mean these words, and I find
Thank you.
your approach in writing them very unique. I
Mm.
want to ask for the viewers and the listeners on TikTok who cannot see us, if someone wants to get his or her hand on this workbook, how could they have access to it?
Yes. Well, if you want it, like you can't wait, you can always send me, DM me, or go to my website, www.hellenaya.com. And then, you can send me also a message, and I will get you a copy. I will, even as a bonus, if you do it right after now, as a bonus, I'll also give you my first book, Become, with it.
Wow.
And that is also a book that I think will bless you. um apart from that, from next week, the book will be available also on Amazon and other bookstores. Hopefully, yes. And then everyone can, order from there. But if you want, please just contact me direct, and I'll try and get you your copy with the Become book as I promised you. So,
Well, Aaron, stay lucky. Now, I want to ask you: is there something you would additional you would like to share with our audience?
well, I thank you all. I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much. It's been a while. Um, but please, I always say I don't want to take your time for granted because I know how valuable time is. And so if you come on my page or on discovery time, I really want you to be blessed and have something um, that you take home. And so I hope this evening session has blessed you. And I don't want to be, someone told me I am very bad in marketing myself, which is true because I don't really, it's not that I don't value myself, but I'm quite bad in marketing myself. But this time around, if I may say so, this book will really bless you. Honestly, good evening. You're welcome. It will really bless you, just so that, because I really want us to take time to reflect, to analyze, and to really grow. Because I don't believe, see, Pascal, I think you are used to, or this pyramid, the pyramid of Maslow. you know it's a pyramid, it's a psychological pyramid actually, but it's used now in that's what all the world's economical models are built on. It's a pyramid that says our basic needs, is always at the bottom of the pyramid, and then it goes on, and then at the top, when all the other needs are now fulfilled, it's when now you start thinking about personal development and growth. I am of the opinion that that is actually wrong, because what the pyramid does is it keeps you in a survival mode.
Hmm.
But I said some time ago, I made it a quote, and I think I need to repeat it again, that our survival is really intertwined with your personal growth. Those two are not separate.
Wow.
You shouldn't see those two as separate things. And so they should actually turn the pyramid upside down and work on your personal growth, because when you work on your personal growth, you are also working on your survival. You know who you are grounded, that's when you go beyond surviving, you thrive. So we need to get out of the survival mode and be thriving, seek for thriving, because that's what our maker made us to be. He wants us to thrive, not just to survive. If he wanted us to survive, he would not say have dominion. But because he wants us to thrive, he says have dominion. And how do you have dominion if you don't even know your left and right, if you don't know who you are, if you don't, like, how do you have dominion if your principles are, your foundation is missing? So that's why I started with that, to know who you are, and then have that, know that your survival is not just waking up and going to work and doing something. Your survival is really fulfilling purpose. When you're fulfilling your purpose, you are thriving, you are fulfilling. If we understand the words, the meaning of the words that we use, we will have a different rethink and a different mindset and a different approach to life. So that's what I hope to achieve, to really get that reset button in us. Have a reset and know that no, I need to go beyond survival. I need to develop myself. I need to know who I am, become who I am. And as I am living who I am and fulfilling the purpose, I'm thriving. And automatically, what is happening? Your needs, those basic needs, are also being taken care of. So this is what I want to achieve, and I really want us to have. Please seek beyond survival, becoming your very, like, becoming whom you are destined to be, to fulfill the purpose that you are destined to fulfill. And that is where you actually thrive.
Ha, 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 ha. Well, Mrs. Helen, thank you very much for this chat. I really appreciate having had the opportunity to share this conversation with you. Very, very inspiring conversation on a very inspiring workbook. So thank you so much for having
Thank
this.
you too. Thank you so much, Pascal, for taking the time, for reading, and also, for your insights and the questions, for agreeing. I put you on the spotlight. And you're like, okay, I will try. So thank you so much for still, despite the short notice and everything, that you also accepted, and for doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much. And as Pascal said, he said it. Oh, trust me, he gave me a very good remarks, a review. Please contact me for more about the workbook, because as not even on your personal journey, but also as a coach, to use it to coach others. It's a very good instrument. It's a very good tool to use. So contact me for more on it, and let's get the word out. Let's get it out, and let as many people, let people be blessed by it as well. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening, Pascal. Thank you so much. All of you viewers, thank you so much. Bunmi, thank you for joining. It's my first time seeing you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. All of you, John Michael, Patience, Madam Teacher, all of you on TikTok. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening. Please, like I said, contact me for more on the workbook. And yeah, I'll see you soon, I hope. Remain blessed. Thank you so much, my dear. We will see each other soon and talk as well. Pascal, have a wonderful night. Thank you for hosting. Good night.
Good night. Are we
Yeah.
are we